Pizza time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls everywhere. Happy Sunday afternoon. I am, of course, your host, Mr. RJ, Resident Justice himself, and welcome one, welcome all to the premiere episode of the one-stop shop, the premiere show, the premiere event of your lives, the premiere of Matinee Madness, your one-stop shop for all things movie talk, all things entertainment discussions, and more, all with a nice afternoon calm bliss. Welcome, folks. I am very excited to get underway with this brand new show. We have a lot of great topics to get into, a lot of awesome stuff to talk about. I am not alone, though. We have our first guest, the very first person to join us for this premiere show. So it's a very esteemed honor that you get to be the first person to be brought in, and that is Mr. DL. Welcome, DL.
Well, hey, what's up, RJ? What's up,
You have the
everybody?
distinct honor of being the first guest on the show. Welcome.
I truly feel honored to be the first guest on your new talk show, my friend.
Yes. So it is awesome to be able to do a movie talk show, and we have a fun things going on. So kind of some little housekeeping things. We have some 19 people watching. Thank you to all people who are watching. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed as we go on the road to 1K, maybe. We'll try and get to 500 first. But
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So, couple quick housekeeping things before we get started, because I got a couple things I need to talk about first about the show and what we're doing. If you missed it, did some content over the week, made some shows, did a quick little 25-minute stream talking about the Scream franchise and my reactions to all 5 of the films. We also did a retro review of the classic 1990s TMNT, which I got to see in theaters, courtesy of Flashback Cinema. If you missed that, go check it out. And earlier today, a few hours ago, I uploaded my Scream 6 spoiler review and discussion that I recorded with Caden. That is a video that is live right on the channel right now, so make sure you go check that out as well. Had a great time talking with Caden about that film, and again, good little discussion we had there. If you've seen Scream 6, I really recommend that you check out that video. I think we had a really good conversation about the film. That is all the housekeeping out of the way. Now, we get to talk about, real quick before I get in, we have another guest here joining us, Darkness. What's up, Darkness?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? So, before we get into our topics for today, as this is the premiere episode, time to talk a little bit about what the heck this show even is. And that is Matinee Madness. Again, it is your one-stop shop for all things movie talk, all things entertainment discussions, and more. It could be anything. It could be box office. It could be award season talk. It could be film talk. It can be anything. It could be Marvel. It could be DC. It could be Star Wars. Anything and everything is possible. But this show comes with a nice twist. This show is not a late-night movie talk show. We're not trying to compete or go up against all the late night talk show hosts or anything. This is Matinee Madness, and as the name implies, this is meant to be a show that happens, hopefully, again, the keyword hopefully, every afternoon. We'll be talking about movies and all the latest happenings in entertainment. Other piece of housekeeping news, I am currently in the works of creating a video game show, which may be a once a week show or once every 2 weeks. We shall see. More details to come as I iron that out. But
nice.
Yes, welcome to Matinee Madness. Very excited to start this show. Hopefully it will be a smashing success that I will have fun doing every single afternoon talking with you fine folks. So, welcome, gentlemen. It is time to get into the topics.
Oh, yay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, topic number 1. That weekend box office report. The fun data things in life. Figured we talk about a little bit about the box office of this weekend. So we're going to use our good friends at Box Office Mojo, a site that I am very sad to see has changed for the worse. but we can still use them okay. So this weekend's box office report as follows. We will talk about the top 10 as always. Number 1 is Scream 6 coming in with 44.5 $65 million, which is a franchise high, breaking records for that franchise.
Damn.
Number 2, we got Creed 3 at $27 million with a 53% drop. It has just crossed $100 million total gross, which is great to see. The new dinosaur movie with Adam Driver, 65, which I've still not seen yet. I've not seen 65 yet. Opened to $12.3 million. So there you go. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania dropped another 45% this weekend and grossed $7 million. It is still not at $200 million total gross domestic. Yeah,
they gotta really
we'll get into that. Cocaine
boy.
Bear at number 5 with $6 million, another 44% drop. That movie should be hitting digital pretty soon. The religious film Jesus Revolution, another $5 million. Champions, which I think is a Woody Harrelson movie from Focus Features, that opened with $5 million. I think it had a limited release though, maybe. So, Avatar: The Way of Water, another $2 million. Puss in Boots, another $1 million or so, as those movies are winding down. And then the new Guy Ritchie movie at number 10, grossing just $1 million with a 60% drop. So I think that movie's kind of on its way to going digital because I don't think anyone really cares. So, but anyway, how is the box office looking to you guys? Anything interesting you see? Obviously, Scream 6 franchise high opening.
Yeah.
Creed 3 is doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm not really too surprised about the box office. It's pretty much exactly what I expected. Probably the one thing I guess I kind of raised my eyebrow at a little bit is 65 over Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but we probably know why that's the case. But I'm just shocked about that because like the marketing for 65 wasn't very good, and I think it didn't get very good reviews either. But still made more money than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And I mean, Quantumania hasn't
it looks like we'll get into that when we talk about the Marvel thing, but it does look like Quantumania will not match the first film or the second film's box office total worldwide. It will not. It may not even hit 500 million.
Yeah, that's the thing that's just crazy. It's like, damn, dude.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, they really got it. Marvel's got to really up that ante.
Yeah. So that is the weekend box office report. We'll try and do that. Considering my show is going to be daily or every weekday, we'll probably do it every Monday. We'll do the box office report, but because the show's launching on Sunday today, we did it today, which is totally fine. Next topic. How about Beetlejuice 2? It's the movie that everyone is thought would never happen. They've been talking about it for decades, but it actually is going to happen. Beetlejuice 2 is going to happen with Michael Keaton, and they just apparently are going to cast Jenna Ortega to play the daughter of Winona Ryder's character, who should also be returning as well. Apparently, she was in contention with Sadie Sink. Sadie Sink was originally going to get the role, but Sadie Sink dropped out because she's busy. So Jenna Ortega picked it up. So I will defer to DL on this because I have a confession to make to everyone, which is shocking.
What's going on?
I have never seen the original Beetlejuice.
Oh my lord!
I've never seen Beetlejuice. I've never seen it. It's one of those movies I need to watch, but I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Oh, come on, bruh.
I've seen the opening of the movie with Alec Baldwin and Catherine O'Hara, or was it Gina Davis in the car?
I think it was Gina Davis. It's been
okay. Yeah, I think I've seen the opening of the movie where they die, but that's it. In terms of that's it. I've only ever seen the opening of Beetlejuice. I've never seen Beetlejuice.
I think it's on HBO Max. So whatever you.
I know. I need to watch it. I need to.
Yep. But anyway, I'll be honest. I'm kind of mixed about it. Because I do really, really enjoy the first Beetlejuice. I think it's a lot of fun. Very creative. When Tim Burton was at his peak. But part of me is kind of apprehensive he's going back to this after so long because Tim Burton has not been really on a roll, with the exception of Wednesday. Apparently Wednesday is really, really good, which I still have not watched yet.
All right, you get the boob. Really, if you haven't seen Wednesday, you get the boob.
Yeah, I know. and I'm an Addams Family fan. I love the Addams Family. I just haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, so Tim Burton directed the first 3 or first 4 episodes. So
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe if he gives that same passion with Wednesday that he does with Beetlejuice 2, I might have a little bit of faith in it, but right now I'm just kind of apprehensive. But I am glad they're getting Michael Keaton back and Winona Ryder and Jenny Ortega. I'm starting to become more of a fan of hers. I really liked her in Scream 6. I saw yesterday.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I mean, I'm not surprised that that they were gonna get her to be in this movie. Honestly, I'm kind of glad that Sadie Sink turned it down. I mean, not that I don't like Sadie Sink. I think she's great. You know, I loved her in
I think it
Stranger
would have
Things
been
and
interesting
stuff
if it
like that.
was Sadie Sink, to be honest. I think she would have done a great job,
Yeah, I still
probably.
think she would
Yeah,
have done
that would have
great,
been
but
interesting. Yeah.
that would have been interesting. Though, if the rumors are that she was going to play Winona Ryder's daughter, I think Jenny Ortega fits it a little bit more than Sadie Sink, in my opinion. But either way, we'll see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I am a bit worried because like Tim Burton, I don't know.
I think with me, the biggest thing for me is going to be who writes the script. Because the thing is, with Wednesday, I feel like because Tim Burton was just brought on to direct someone else's script, it turned out okay. Because he's just adding some visual flair and like a little bit of creative input, but not like a ton. Beetlejuice 2, I feel like, is more of his baby, so that could maybe be an issue. But again, if
Yeah.
you have someone in there kind of guiding him along, maybe you have a really strong script writer, it could be okay. So, real quick, I'll read the article and then we'll get your thoughts, Darkness.
All right.
Wednesday star Jenna Ortega is looking to stay in the Tim Burton family. The actor is circling a role in Beetlejuice 2, multiple sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers, which is behind the feature, was not available for comment. A representative for Ortega did not respond to requests for comment. The news comes as Ortega hits theaters at Scream 6, which did land the top opening in the franchise's 25-plus year history. Tim Burton, who helmed the 1988 film starring Michael Keaton, is expected to direct, with Michael Keaton returning as well, according to sources. Production is eyeing a late May or early June shoot in London, but the budget has not been set, resulting in a back and forth. If a deal is made, sources say Ortega would play the daughter of Lydia, the character played by Winona Ryder in the original. So, if they're going to make Beetlejuice 2, that's a late May, early June. I mean, that's right
Wow.
around promotion for Flash. So
Yeah. And
he will be pretty
Transformers: Rise of the
busy.
Beast.
Yeah.
And that means we could probably see this movie maybe next year if they move quick on it enough.
Hey,
We'll
that's
see.
quick.
Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Jeffrey Jones, and Catherine O'Hara also starred in the original film, which grossed $80 million on a $15 million budget and scored a Best Makeup Oscar at the 1989 Academy Awards. The sequel has gone through various iterations over the years, multiple writers coming and going, and Burton himself publicly waffling over his own involvement. Ortega, who most recently starred in Netflix's Wednesday, also featuring direction by Burton, has said that she used to have consistent dreams about Beetlejuice when she was younger. The actor began her career with roles such as young Jane on CW's Jane the Virgin, followed by parts in You and Yesterday. She starred in last year's Scream reboot and also appeared in the horror hit X. And it talks a little bit about her work with Tim Burton on Wednesday. So that is the story. So, Darkness, I will refer to you. How do you feel about Beetlejuice 2 officially moving forward and this potential casting?
So I do think that Beetlejuice 2 is going to be pretty good. I do think that after seeing this article, I think it's going to be pretty good. I just the only thing that I just want to see is definitely the cast that they brought in, and well, a lot of people that are bringing back. If there's going to be new people being brought in, that they're good, and that this one that there's no like fatigue in this, because you know how like over time when they do something, they greenlight something, and like if it's years later, it's gonna kind of get a little like like with some people, you know what I mean? Like
When they try to capitalize on an IP that they haven't tackled for years, and
yeah,
try
like
to capture the same magic as the original.
yes, something like that. Yeah, I feel like if they do it wrong, I feel like they're going to experience something like that, and that's going to kind of really kind of turn people off. But I mean, like all it depends though is great story and how good the cast is, because definitely with how Michael Keaton is, because Michael Keaton is really getting up there in age. So I mean, like even though he's going to be in the Flash, he's still kind of getting up there in age though. So I mean, it's like It's like that's another thing that a lot of people are kind of, well, even me, is kind of like, how is Michael Keaton gonna do? Like,
I think Michael Keaton will be fine because I don't think Beetlejuice will be like as physically demanding as a role as Batman. Like they pretty much have
yeah,
to cover him up in makeup. And like he's still aging pretty okay, but I think when he's
that's
covered in
true.
all the makeup and whatever special effects they want to put on him, I think will cover up the fact that he is really old.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, like I said, I need to watch the original Beetlejuice, but I'm down for Michael Keaton returning to another iconic role. Hopefully, they'll do pretty good with it, and we'll see what happens with that. Like I
Yeah,
said, I'm not familiar with Beetlejuice. I know of Beetlejuice. I'm going to clarify that. I know of Beetlejuice. It's not like one of those movies I'm like, oh my god, But
yeah.
so, next topic as we move right along, and that is I'm going to pose a question to everybody. Does anyone care about the Oscars tonight?
I don't care. I don't care about
the Oscars are tonight. In a few more hours, the Oscars are going live on ABC. Does anyone care?
I could care less about the Oscars, but the
Thank
only
you,
reason
DL.
I really don't care. They're a joke at this point. But the only reason I'm watching it tonight is because one of my best friends loves to watch the Oscars, and I watch it with him every year. So I'm literally just watching it for him. But other than that, no. There's like a couple of nominees I'm kind of interested to see that will win, but yeah, no, little interest.
Well, for me at least, I say no because I'm watching Last of Us. Screw the Oscars. I'm
Hey,
watching
Oh
The
yeah,
Last of Us.
dude.
yeah,
I'm
use
watching.
your
Dude,
time
Last of Us has been
wisely.
really good so far, man. It's been really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when it comes to the Oscars, I'll cover it like the winners and stuff. In terms of actually watching it live, no. Oh,
Oh,
and the
Little Mermaid
and the
trailer.
Little Mermaid
Yeah,
trailers tonight too at the Oscars, and
yeah.
I don't care about that either.
Yeah,
I don't
I
either.
really don't mind that.
I don't care.
None
I'm
of these.
sorry. Like the little glimpses we've gotten in that movie, I don't think it's the actors' fault. I think the actors are going to do the best job they can. But visually, that movie looks like Dookie. It looks like Dookie.
100%. I
Yeah.
felt no soul in any of these trailers. I felt no magic. It's just gone. Like man,
Exactly.
between that and like the Peter Pan trailer, I'm just like I just don't feel
Well, the
anything
only reason I'm
anymore.
interested in Peter Pan is because I really like the director. The director's made really good movies, but I can understand the color palette being like a turn off for some people.
It is very interesting that they got an A24 director to do a Disney live action remake. So
Yeah, it is very interesting. But yeah, we'll see about the Oscars. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know.
Hopefully it's not bad. Like a lot of the other Oscars have they've just been boring. Hopefully they're just not boring or bad this time.
hopefully there's no controversy this year.
Oh yeah.
Well, it can't be any.
There's no,
okay,
there's no
well,
Sam
let's make a
Smith
prediction
stuff.
right now. Let's make a prediction right now. How many jokes about the slap will there be tonight?
29. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's big. That's big subtle.
I would say we're gonna get at least 6 or 7 jokes about the slap tonight.
Yeah, I would say like at least 5, but yeah, maybe 6 or 7.
Who wants to predict maybe 15?
There's 500. Oh my god, could you imagine if because I think Jimmy Kimmel's hosting this year. Could you imagine Jimmy Kimmel comes out and they do like some kind of thing where like he slaps Chris Rock as a joke? Or,
I don't think Chris Rock will be down for that. I don't.
No, I mean like Chris Rock Chris Rock goes like on a slapping spree and slaps everybody or something as a joke. Like it's a
that actually
thing.
would be funny if he just started slapping random people in the audience and slapping that would be the highlight of the night.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
They won't do it though. They won't do it because the Oscars will be like, "That's insensitive." I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm gonna also make a bold prediction. I think the Oscars ratings are gonna be really bad this year again.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
now they could go up slightly because you have Top Gun Maverick and Black Panther nominated, and the Batman nominated, so maybe people will tune in for that, but I doubt it.
I mean, we all know Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to sweep everything.
Which I'm fine with. It's a great movie. I'm cool with that. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I really liked it.
So we'll see when it comes to the Oscars tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, topic number 4. Just kind of trucking all along. James Gunn talks up Wonder Woman, potential animated series incoming. So, did you guys hear about this?
Yes, I did. I
Yes.
covered it yesterday.
So there's some talk right now that a lot of people are pushing for a Wonder Woman animated series in the vein of Superman and Batman. So people have been kind of using a hashtag to kind of campaign for it. And James Gunn responded, talking about he said it. Somebody made like a tweet saying, "Hey, Wonder Woman has so much story potential. Like she really deserves to have that potential explored." And James Gunn just replied and said, "Agreed, working on it." And then he clarified and he said this. James Gunn says they are working on getting Wonder Woman into more animated content. I agree that there hasn't been enough of her in that area in terms of animation, and that was one of the things I brought up to the animation folks. So, when it comes to Wonder Woman in animation, how do you guys feel about that, and how would you guys like that to be handled? Would you want it to be like a DCU set animated series, like her appearing in some of the animated series they're already working on? Would you want it to be like an Elseworlds, like standalone animated show for Wonder Woman? I mean, how would you like it to be handled?
You want to go ahead, Darks?
All right, yeah, sure. I'm kind of mixed on this. So my take might seem a little weird, but I'm just gonna say it. I mean, I would like to see this animation in the DCU because I mean James Gunn has said because I mean it makes sense why this would kind of be in the DCU because I mean James Gunn has said that I mean there are going to be animation stuff that's going to be in there where I mean it's going to be animation, live action, and all sorts of other stuff. So I mean I would like for this to be in the DCU, but I mean I just find it a little weird that Wonder Woman, a big character that's part of the Trinity, like Batman and Superman, is going to be animated. And yes, I know that's a little like wow or shocker, but I mean it's like it's the truth. I mean it's kind of weird that I mean she's going to be animated, but I mean like Superman Legacy is going to be live action and
Well,
Batman.
you have to remember though the intention is that all of the characters will be in animation at some point, all of them,
That is
and they're
true.
meant to
That
be
is
in
true.
animation and jump to live action, jump back and forth all the time.
Wait,
So
all of them are supposed to have animated and
well,
live
the
I've
action?
heard
idea
about
is
that.
that okay, so let's say for Creature Commandos, right? Those characters are going to show up in live action. Supposedly, a couple of them will be in the Waller show, and vice versa. You could see characters like Amanda Waller become animated and show up in Creature Commandos or another animated series, and it's meant to be the same version. So there's going to be
Yeah.
the constant back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But my point is though, it's like and by no means am I trying to bash it or am I saying that, oh yeah, this is gonna be bad. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I it's to me it's just a little weird, but I mean because I mean it's like because it's like there's gonna be a live action Superman movie and a live action Batman movie, but a Wonder Woman animated show, even though the prequel series is going to be live action and Game of Thrones style ish. Which don't get me wrong, I do think this is still going to be really good. I still think this is going to be worth watching. It's just a little weird, that's all. But I mean, it's like we just got to wait and see what happens, though, if this is really true or not. Well, I mean, it is pretty much true at this point. But I mean, it's like I'm down for it. I'm very interested to see who is going to be voicing Wonder Woman in this, and if the person voicing her really will be playing as her in live action. So, I mean, I think that's going to be very interesting, and I am pretty down for it. So, I mean, it's just like I'm just waiting to see with how they're going to work out the whole animation to live action to animation ideas. So, I mean, it's like it's very interesting. So, I mean, I'm very down to see it, and we just gotta wait and see what happens. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
No,
I'll
you're
shut
good.
up. I'll shut up.
You're good.
It's true.
DL, what do you think?
Um, I'll admit, when I first heard about this, a part of me did get a little giddy because I was like, yes, I would love to see an animated show with Wonder Woman, in the
Yeah.
veins of a Batman the animated series and a Superman the animated series. I feel like she deserved it. Even though I love the DC animated universe, like it was a travesty that she didn't get a spin-off. Because that's the main trinity right there, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of world building and a lot of characters that they can introduce from the comics and the lore that they can bring into the mainstream by doing an animated series. So I definitely 100% up for it. However, there is a couple of worries that I do have. Uh, Similar to Darkness, I'm kind of concerned about how they're going to handle it, whether it's going to be part of the DCU or an Elseworlds thing. And I feel like either way, there might be some trepidation because, like, I think probably the best route, what I would do, I would like it to be Elseworlds. Um, because because like Darkness said, it is kind of weird. If this is going to be part of the DCU, it is a bit strange that they're going to have Wonder Woman stuff be animated and then Batman and Superman's be live action. And this is nothing. This you guys know how much I love animated stuff, and it doesn't get as much respect as live action. It's not that I'm putting down it being animated, but it's just that as I said, the Trinity. They are the tentpoles of DC, and I feel like they all should have their films coming out. Now, the only reason I think if this is part of the DCU and this is their approach, they're probably doing this is because Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is still in people's minds, and they're not sure about what to do with her going forward after these 4 DC movies come out this year. So maybe that's why they're doing this first. But then it's also strange that we're still getting the Paradise Lost show that's connected to the DCU. So I don't know. I don't know how they could approach this. So if it is part of the DCU, I'm up for it. I'm interested to see how he approaches that, and what characters they introduce, or like how if they're going to translate that to live action, if they're going to go from animation to live action. We should see how they approach it. It is odd though if that's how
Well, I
they're
mean,
going to start.
I think you can do different things though. I mean, like my take at least is like I feel like you could do it to where there's you have your Wonder Woman movie, but like she has a side adventure where it's like maybe it takes place in the past, or maybe it takes place during in between movies, and it's an animated show. Like there's ways of doing it to where you have your cake and eat it too. If they want to make
Yeah.
this animated content connected to the main universe, right? So just because she's in animation doesn't mean she won't get a movie too. You know?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's another thing though. Like if they are going to do the show and then they're going to eventually do a movie, how much are they going to cover in the show and what are they going to use in the films?
Well, again, I mean that's for them, I guess, to work out. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the fact that we're getting a prequel show first about the Amazons kind of tells you that Wonder Woman's coming, but it might just be a second.
Yeah.
It's not like remember we only know the first half of chapter 1. We don't even know the full
Exactly.
chapter 1.
That's true. That's true.
So
What if they wait to use they we don't see Wonder Woman until a Justice League movie?
Oh,
I mean, they
people would
could
be
do
like,
that.
"Oh,
I
what?"
mean, listen, they could do that if they wanted to. I mean, it's not ideal, but
Or they do a Trinity, a
yeah,
proper
that
Trinity
Tony's right. It could
Yeah.
be it could like a cartoon could be very far off. I mean, these are just preliminary discussions, like
Well,
ideas are thrown around.
I
So
mean, the thing is, though, it's like if they do skip a Wonder Woman project before Justice League, that would kind of be like a little bit of a little rushing situation, kind of like with what happened with the old regime, not trying to go back to the past. But I mean, I don't think they would want to rush that. I think they would just want to have build up a lot of characters, including a character like Wonder Woman. So I mean, it's like I just don't see really them skipping a Wonder Woman project, going to Justice League, and then doing a Wonder Woman project after it. I mean, even though there is like Paradise Lost, I still think that there should be a little show with what's been going with what we're talking about right now. Like I mean, the animated Wonder Woman show in the DCU, well, possibly in the DCU, which I think it's going to be in the DCU. It should take place sometime like after Paradise Lost, and then that can have some build up to Justice League, just like how a lot of these other movies should.
Mm.
yeah, that's fair. We also have another guest joining us. We have Eddie. Welcome, Eddie.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hello, Eddie.
Hey guys,
How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, you know who's not doing good right now?
Who?
Star Wars.
Oh, what else is new?
boy.
So I found this article. So there's a lot of Star Wars news going on right now, and I love the title of this one. That's why I used it.
What
That's
the
basically
hell
my
is going on
reaction
with
at this
Star
point.
Wars?
What the hell's going on with Star Wars? It all seemed to be going so well. What the hell's going on with Star Wars?
We got
Because
shows
this
like
is
Bad
getting
Batch,
ridiculous.
Mandalorian. Oh,
It's getting ridiculous, man. It's getting ridiculous. So,
You get a movie. You get a movie. Wait, psych! No, you don't.
well, let's get into it a little bit. So basically the news is Rogue Squadron and Kevin Feige's Star Wars movies are dead. They've been shelved completely. Rian Johnson's trilogy is still waiting in the wings, but he's busy. And the only Star Wars movies that seem to be moving forward are a Taika Waititi movie that he wants to star in, and the Damon Lindelof Star Wars movie, which will apparently be a sequel to the sequel trilogy that will continue some of the stories, and you might see Rey and Poe and Finn, but it'll be new characters too as the main leads. And we have no clue what's going on with Sean Levy's Star Wars movie either. So, yeah. So once again, they have no clue what they want to do with the movies yet. And it's been how many years since Rise of Skywalker? 4?
4.
yeah, so somewhere around there. Because I mean, we all know that Rise of Skywalker was the reason why Star Wars mainly went to Disney Plus.
So we may not even get a Star Wars movie for another year or two, and they still have no clue what the hell they're doing. So I have to ask the question here, folks: is it time for Kathleen Kennedy to go?
Yes.
Can I say something real quick? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. One of the things I do want to say though, not when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. Well, I mean, I will say this about Kathleen Kennedy real quick. If Star Wars is to succeed, and this is coming from someone who has been a long time Star Wars fan. Like I was a fan of Star Wars from like a lot of people are gonna say this, but I mean it's like the prequel trilogy. A lot of people have a lot of problems with the prequel trilogy. I liked it. The only reason why I liked it though was because of Revenge of the Sith. And as a fan of someone who loved all of Star Wars, and definitely won Star Wars The Clone Wars, I will say this. If Star Wars is to succeed, and they keep having flop after flop after flop when it comes to movies, I think it is time for Kathleen Kennedy to go. I mean that with no disrespect. I'm not saying that as like, oh, she has to go or like, or trying to pull a boycott or anything that you see on hashtags. But, and no, I'm not trying to take a shot at a certain people. So no, don't think I'm trying to go that far. But if Star Wars is to succeed, they're going to have to get rid of her. And I say this as someone that just, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of better things to say because I might not make sense, so I do apologize.
No, you're good. Go ahead, do your thing.
But again, if Star Wars is to succeed, they got to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, and they just got to bring in someone that knows what they're doing, sort of thing.
Yeah. Anthony just got here. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, what's up? I won't be here that long because I gotta go to it, but depends. I've been saying this. Nobody will ever be her resume. She has a great resume in Hollywood, right? But these last couple of years with Star Wars, I think it's time for it to leave. This summer, after Indiana Jones make money, whatever the amount of money he makes, and stuff, like, it's just, I want to see a Star Wars movie again. I love Star Wars on TV. It's been great so far on TV. Book of Boba Fett and whatever. Obi-Wan is okay. But just that she just needs to go. And I hope that she she does better somewhere else. I don't want Taika Waititi. Why is Taika Waititi starring in his own Star Wars movie?
I don't know.
I think
Why? He should voice a robot. Voice it.
He did that in The Mandalorian though, and that's probably why they're still going with him because he did do great with the Mandalorian, so he's a safe bet for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's definitely
I think-
making his modern day Spaceballs with that movie.
Yeah. Well, Eddie, what do you think about the current state of Star Wars? How are you feeling right now?
Well, I've been saying this for years. Star Wars is now identity politics. SJW is infesting our entertainment. I'm sick of it.
Holy Jesus, bro.
Oh boy.
The Force is female is real. I can't believe it. They've done strong white role models. I can't believe it. Now, in all seriousness, because I know those guys definitely will talk shit once she leaves. But again, I just don't know the situation when it comes to Star Wars. I mean, yes, it is true because of the Rise of Skywalker. That's why we haven't had a theatrical film in a while. But it makes sense because they had to rebuild, regroup, and start and map out a plan before they start anything. You know, before anything gets into production, because they're uncertain of the response from the fans. They're uncertain they actually can bring everyone back in. I mean, yeah, TV definitely helped. You know, the Mandalorian definitely helped bring people back in and to love Star Wars again. But even with that, I don't know if anyone else feels the same. But I feel like some of the shows were kind of like, you know, they weren't that good in quality.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was stuff like Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett. I was like, I don't know about this. It's kind of like half for me. But even with that, it's like they need a clear plan. The Taika movie still happening. It's like it makes sense. And look, despite some stuff like Thor: Love and Thunder, he is a good director. And we've seen him direct, episodes before The Mandalorian. So we just have to wait and see exactly when he's in charge how that scale's gonna go. But in terms of everything else, it's like, look, if she has to go, I guess. Like I don't see her as a problem. I just, for me, it's more of a lack of plan and actually her, even though she is in charge. So you can't say, well, it's her fault. There's no plan. But that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Who else needs to share their thoughts on it? Who else?
Myself.
DL, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so look, I'm not like you guys know. I've been very vocal about Kathleen Kennedy the past few years, and I'm not just doing this because I'm not trying to be a hater of her. I'm not trying to make her lose her job, and I definitely believe when Steven Spielberg says that she's one of the greatest producers ever, like that's saying something, And so I believe that she's really good at what she does, but we got to stop dancing around the issue and stop giving her the benefit of the doubt. The reason why Star Wars is all over the place is because she did not have a proper plan about where the direction of this franchise is going to go.
Even Bob Iger admitted it.
Yeah, like everything goes through her. She approves everything. She is the one that gets these creatives here to do whatever project they want to. And it is a circus that it went from one director to the next. Oh, you got a project? Oh, you don't. And then as far as the creative direction, like the simple solution to that problem should be to get Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to run the entire universe. I don't know why they haven't done that already. They don't have to direct and every project, but they clearly understand the Star Wars universe more than anyone. They're probably the closest to understand the universe since George Lucas. And why hasn't Kathleen Kennedy got them to run the movie and show division? I don't understand that. But whoever they're going to get for Lucasfilm, they have to get a plan. Like they have to get some sort of writer's room or something out there, and just make sure everything's good, the quality's consistent. Make sure you got pitches for these movies. Make sure you know what these creators want to do before you actually have them approved to do whatever movie they want you to do. Because, like I said, it's been a circus going in and out with all these directors. And then, as far as the stuff that we have now, I'm not even saying that I'm not even saying it's in trouble right now, because for the most part, we've gotten really good Star Wars content. Even though I have mixed feelings about Bad Batch, Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, and Andor, everything else has been really, really great. And even the stuff that I didn't like as much, there's a lot of people that really like Bad Batch and Andor, and there's even some fans of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. So we're definitely, as far as quality, we're not like in trouble right now, And it's like, really, even though, The Rise of Skywalker was what it was, they really should have looked at Solo, because that was the only film that really underperformed. you know? So that should have been a wake up call for them. They shouldn't have waited till Rise of Skywalker to be like, oh, no, we got to stop doing this. Like, no. So, yeah, Kathleen, I'm sorry. She does have to go. She does. She's clearly not the right person to run Star Wars. Like, she's good at producing, she's good at other things, but as far as running this studio, I don't know. She has not been putting in her best effort. And I feel like the quality of the Star Wars stuff is going to suffer the longer she's there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
I'm
there
not-
is something that I do want to add real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things I do want to also say is that like whatever Star Wars movie they make, regardless of whether Lucasfilm or not Lucasfilm, I'm sorry, if Kathleen Kennedy is still in charge of Star Wars around this time, or if she does get booted, this movie, whatever Star Wars movie they make, whatever new trilogy they do make, it has to be good. Episode 10 has to be good. It has to get at least a good response. Like if it gets the same response as Rise of Skywalker or Last Jedi, Star Wars, I think, is really going to truly show that it's dead. And the only thing that's going to save them are doing shows on Disney Plus.
They need to. They also, I think, they need to get away from the trilogy formula and get as far away from the Skywalker saga as possible. Now,
Exactly.
I'm actually
I would-
okay. Like whatever that the other guy that was going to do a Star Wars film that was going to bring back Rey, Finn, and Poe. I don't have a problem with that.
Damon Lindelof.
Damon
Yeah,
Lindelof,
that's the Star
Oh,
Wars
yeah, I
movie
heard
that
about
was
that.
reporting go first.
yeah, which I think that's fine. Like, regardless of what you want to say about the sequel trilogy, like those characters, I don't think were the problem. I think under better direction and better writing, they actually can be beloved characters. Like, this is the same issue we talked about with the prequels. Everyone hated the prequels till the Clone Wars came out, and they appreciated it more. So the same thing can happen with Rey, Finn, and Poe. But truly, what they do need to do is get as far away from the sequels, the Skywalker saga as possible, and tell new stories and new characters. And it doesn't always have to be a trilogy format. I'm okay with them doing one-off movies. They need to do more of that, but it's just like they need to try stuff new, do stuff that's new. We're stuck in this sandbox for I don't know how many years. Need to get out of it.
Psst, Lucasfilm, do Old Republic timeline.
Isn't the accolades away from the Skywalker saga?
That is
Guys.
true. That is true.
Yeah, so it's like it's a different project from all the Star Wars stuff.
What you say?
Yeah.
No, I said you guys are just being foolish. We already know who's going to save Star Wars with his trilogy. Ryan Johnson.
If that ever
He
comes
could.
out.
Could.
If that ever
Listen,
comes out.
he could. It could be so good, maybe, it could. I mean, listen, I don't know what's going on because I feel like even with Mando season 3, like I don't know if it's just like me looking at it weird, but like I don't feel like the same hype for Mando season 3 like I thought there'd be. Like I don't know if it's just like
Really?
slow out the gate or what, but yeah, I'm not seeing the same level of hype.
Oh wow.
I mean, it happened with like season 2 because at the beginning it was just like traveling, finding spiders in the caves and stuff like that. But once it got into the plot, people were like, "Oh, this is pretty good." So I don't mind like because obviously there's gonna be a story there. You know, Mandalore, the Mandalorians, probably some type of war is gonna happen. I think we can expect
Yeah,
something
Civil
like that to
War,
happen.
Mandalorian Civil War.
That's probably what they're building up to anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, when it comes to Star Wars, we'll have to wait and see and just hope for the best when it comes to that. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
No more flopping, Lucasfilm. No more flopping.
All right. So we are on our last topic, our final topic, the main topic for the premiere episode of Matinee Madness, and that is the current state of Marvel and why Bob Iger made it worse.
Boy.
Whoa.
Man, I was
All right, so let's get into this. This is an article from Deadline where they talked to Bob Iger, and he talked about Marvel. Okay. So here's what he said about Marvel. Okay. With Marvel, he said, there are 7,000 characters. There are a lot more stories to tell. What we have to look at now at Marvel is not necessarily the volume of Marvel stories we're telling, but how many times you go back to the well on certain characters. Sequels typically work fine for us, but do you need a third and a fourth, for instance, or is it time to turn to other characters? Iger didn't get specific, but his comments came less than 3 weeks after the release of Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The third Ant-Man film has grossed more than $450 million globally, but drew tepid response from critics and posted a 69-second weekend drop in the U.S., steepest by any MC title to date. It also may not even cross 500 million.
Oh,
There's
boy.
nothing in any way inherently off in terms of the Marvel brand. I think that's...
Wait, what?
There's nothing in any way inherently off in terms of the Marvel brand. I think we just have to look at what characters and stories we're mining. If you look at the trajectory of Marvel in the next 5 years, there'll be a lot of newness. We're going to turn back to the Avengers franchise with a whole new set of Avengers, for example. Okay. So, I will go first, and then I will let Joe go.
Okay.
When it comes to Marvel right now, they're not necessarily dead. It's not doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's not dead.
But there are some issues right now. A lot of them. And this response from Bob Iger concerns me for 2 reasons. One, he has never, ever, ever, ever commented like this when it comes to Marvel. He has never shown a slight hint of, well, we need to do this, this, or that. Never. I cannot think of one big incident where he's publicly talked about Marvel and like them having issues. So that's concerning. Number 2, his reasoning for issues and what he thinks the problem is completely off base to the point where it concerns me that they think that's the problem versus the actual real problems that they're facing. Again, it is not an issue of making sequels. Sequels are fine. What people don't like are when you make mediocre sequels. That's the issue. You can make a 4th Thor movie or a 3rd Ant-Man movie. Just don't make it shit. Like, that's the issue. If you make bad movies and you lack the quality control that you're supposed to have, that's when we run into issues. Okay? That's when we run into issues. So when he talks about this, I get very concerned. I get very concerned because I don't think that he's recognizing the actual problems that are there. And again, I'm not saying Marvel can't fix the issues that they're currently having, but if this is like what they think the issues are, that's very concerning to me. I'm not saying I know more than Iger, but like I feel like this is a response that was very off the cuff from him. And I do think it's concerning that he acknowledges this is the problem when it does. I don't think that is the problem. But, and again, Bob Iger is a very smart person. I respect him greatly. I think he's a very shrewd businessman. But I think these comments are very off base. I think they're very off base, and I don't think that he's necessarily addressing the actual issues going on right now. He's mentioned quality over quantity, but like, are we going to do anything about that? Like, what are you actually doing to, like, you're saying a lot of things, but how are you actually making improvements and changes, right? Because the reason I say it's off the cuff, by the way, Samir, is because he was asked about this at a kind of a business event or something. Like, I remember, I'm not sure what the actual context of it was, but it wasn't like a formal press release or anything like that. It was just something that was casually asked about, like, hey, like, you know, what's going on with Marvel? And he responded the way he did. So again, I'm not going to be all doom and gloom. I'm not trying to like be negative or like try and say the sky is falling. But I think Marvel is experiencing a lot of issues right now. And I don't think Bob Iger's comments reassured people that things are going to be fixed, like the actual issues fans are having right now. Because I think it's very dumb to say, oh, we need to stop making sequels. No, you've made 3rd or 4th movies before. That's not an issue. The issue is that you're making bad sequels. Again, people don't have a problem with sequels. They have a problem with bad sequels. So that's my thing. But anyway, who would like to go next?
I will go next.
Okay.
You know, it's funny that Bob Iger said that, you know, they don't need a 3rd or 4th film, but he just greenlit Toy Story 5. But anyway,
yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
wow.
so like where's your priorities at, Bob? But I 100% agree with you, RJ. I don't think he's really understanding the issue that Marvel is having. Um, what they need to do to get Marvel back on track is, for one thing, we need to stop being oversaturated with all these projects a year. There's too many. There's too many
Which I
projects.
think they are trying to fix at least a little bit with the delays and everything. So we'll see how that goes.
Number two, the problem is the writing. Whatever writers they're getting for these movies, it's not working. They keep getting these new writers that don't know anything about the universe, don't know anything about the source material. They just are taking them because of, oh, they did this popular show over here that's kind of similar to the genre that we're doing, but not really. Rick and Morty, do something. Go over here. Like,
Yeah,
no,
I
no.
think we can officially, after, listen, I don't mind. I don't hate Jeff Loveness or Michael Waldron. I actually loved Loki. Loki was great, and that was written by Michael Waldron from Rick and Morty. So I think Waldron's okay in my book, at least when it comes to Loki. But in general, we got to stop hiring Rick and Morty writers. Like, it's just time to get some different people in, and especially with the writer strike looming, that is also very concerning.
It's gonna be another writer strike.
Yes, and it's a big deal because this one could be really bad. That's why they're trying to rush productions right now to get stuff being made, so they can avoid the issues of a writer strike.
Oh God!
Because, for example, I don't know if you guys heard,
boy.
but supposedly, Disney is rushing Book of Boba Fett season 2 into production.
Oh, no,
hold on. And Mando season 4, because they want to have both of those ready for when the writer strike happens, and they need content for a year. So you're going to see a lot of rush productions, I think, because they're trying to avoid issues with the writer strike, which I think is very concerning.
Okay, well, I guess you can't. You got to do what you can in those circumstances. It's very unfortunate. Like, I could only imagine what they're having to deal with. But like, my criticism still stands, is that they need to get better writers for these projects that actually understand the universe and understand the source material. Because like, they need to stop getting these rookies or these new up and coming directors. Some of them may be good, but some of them may not be. We saw what Chloe Zhao just did. But the main issue, though, that I think that Marvel needs to fix, and this could be subjective for Marvel fans. I don't know how you'll feel about it, RJ, or everyone else, but the main problem that Marvel needs to fix is making sure these projects are able to tell their own stories. All of these films feel like setup to the next project, to the extreme. Like, it wasn't as bad as it was the previous two seasons. Like, these don't even feel like their own films anymore. Like, what I loved about the first two phases is that, yeah, they had some Easter eggs here and they had some cameos with other characters, but they still were focused on that individual story. It felt like their own films. These don't feel like it anymore. And what makes it even more frustrating, even with the projects that are mediocre and bad, you can't miss them, because if you miss one project, you run the risk of not understanding something that comes in the future. And that's not how the storytelling should be. You should be able to understand what happens in a future project without having to watch everything else beforehand. That's not good. That's not very good. And we already know that the mainstream movie-going audience, yes, you have those diehard Marvel fans that will watch whatever comes out, but there's those certain fans, there's certain moviegoers that have gotten to a point where they feel oversaturated, they feel overwhelmed, they're not able to catch up with everything, and it's going to get to a point where people are going to quit. Unless you give them a reason to watch, make sure that the quality is good. Like, don't just like fall on, oh, these Easter eggs and this setup will make them eager to watch what happens next. No, we can't have that mindset anymore. We can't. That's why I appreciate stuff like Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, stuff like that. Because, like, while yes, they're in the universe, it was their own story. They focused on those characters. They didn't worry about setting up to other things and all that stuff. They felt like their own movie, and there was great storytelling and great characters. We need to get back to that.
No, it's very fair. That's very fair. Eddie, would you like to share your thoughts on everything?
I don't even know what's happening when it comes to Marvel. I mean, there's definitely not a lack of interest from the general audience and the core fandoms when it comes to the MCU, which is that it is a quantity over quality issue. They definitely have it. I feel like, in my opinion, maybe the writers or the people in charge now think they have more leeway since the universe is successful, that they don't have to care about really proper storytelling or developing their characters or so on. I don't know. It's interesting because Marvel definitely has been doing this recently, and Phase 4 definitely was a culprit of this, I guess, nonsense, if I had to call it that. But I want them to get together when it comes to fixing whatever the issue is at Marvel Studios. But at the same time, if they don't really fix what's happening, lots of people are just gonna be turned off from Phase 5. And I'm not saying that they haven't been making quality since Endgame or whatever. I know lots of people say that, but that's not the truth. That's not the truth. Lots of good movies and shows have been releasing. Just that I just don't know what it is, man. Maybe it is just a writing and how these films and shows are structured now. But at the same time, I'm just hoping they could do their best, fix whatever they have to fix. Because the fact they already have the next 10 to 15 years planned out, but lots of shit is going on, with these films that people just don't like. It's like, yeah, you should really take your time now. You need proper planning and just taking your time to see what works and what doesn't. And if you had to get rid of a certain tone or style or a bunch of people, then go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Darkness, what do you think about this whole situation?
So, I'll say this. I can understand why Bob Iger would kind of be a little bit of interested and would want to be careful with the MCU, because there have been a lot of problems with the MCU. I will 100% admit. Like, for example, I've been hearing this a lot. The CGI. There's been a lot of issues with the CGI in Marvel movies, especially in Marvel movies and shows in Phase 4. So I can understand why Bob Iger would say we got to be very careful. And I can really understand why a lot of projects are getting delayed, because they still need a lot of time to write these projects or to put in the CGI for them, for example. And I just think that, like, to another point too, I do understand where he's also coming from with, like, more characters need to be used. And I think that is something that's like, okay, I can kind of go along with that, because, well, when it comes to characters being used, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like a lot of the characters that they do use are important, don't get me wrong, but there are more characters in Marvel that they could use, instead of, like, there being characters that everyone already knows about, for example, in another Marvel movie. They can make another Marvel character or another movie with this new character, and they can make it feel important, make the character feel important with good writing, good story, and if they really want to make that project with this new character feel important, they can, even if they want, have some sort of build-up that leads into something bigger, kind of like with what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy, where Gamora was, what we find out in there, that, like, oh yeah, Gamora is the daughter of Thanos, something like that. And another thing that I do think, and I know based on from what I heard you say, RJ, people here are probably going to be like, whoa, Darkness, whoa, pump the brakes, buddy. But I'm just going to say this. When it comes to there being a lot of sequels, to an extent, I have to agree with what Bob Iger is saying, but what I really, really am kind of concerned about is, like, how is he going to approach that? And I can understand where he is coming from with that, because the sequels, okay, because if you look at, like, sequels to movies like Thor: Love and Thunder, we all know what a disaster that was. Then if you look at just Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania that came out last month, not doing that well at the box office. I think the only issue with that, though, is, like, if there's good stories in these new sequels and build up at the same time, and the characters are still interesting and people aren't tired of them, people are still going to be really invested in it. Which, even though people are still invested in it, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is that, like, I feel like if Marvel keeps going down this route and nothing really gets done, especially with the whole sequel stuff that they're doing with like endless sequels for Ant-Man and Thor, etc. I feel like that's really going to make people feel like, oh, okay, it's the same character. We all know this guy. But what I think should happen under Bob Iger, though, and what he's trying to say is that, like, make these sequels feel important and don't constantly use sequels to movies to have there be build up. Bring in a new character or new characters, I'm sorry, that can build up to what is to come in the future and make them feel important and have build up and interesting character arcs and just a great story. But I do understand what you are saying, though, RJ, because this is a little concerning with Bob Iger coming in, though, because I mean, it's like who knows what is going to happen.
Well, the other issue is I feel like it might just be too. They're not going to be able to make changes fast enough to respond because they plan things out so far ahead.
Yeah,
and if you try and overcorrect movies via reshoots, are you rushing those films out as well?
And once again,
it's just a bad situation all around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the other thing too, though, is like, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say this one thing. It just goes back to everything being so interconnected. If one domino falls, a bunch of others do as well.
Yeah, it might be a case of it's just going to take a while to get back where they need to be, and I think that they will get back to where they need. I mean, listen, I think Captain America: New World Order should be exciting. I think, I would say Daredevil Born Again, but I'm kind of worried about that.
I know.
I'm hopeful that Deadpool 3, Loki Season 2, Fantastic Four, like there's some good stuff I think on the horizon. I think that things will get better. You know, I think things will ultimately be okay. It's just, it might take a minute,
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, we just got to wait and see what happens. But I mean, it's like, I will say this. If somehow Bob Iger's little ideas for fixing Marvel somehow fail, then I think this could be a dark time for Marvel, and this could potentially be DC's true time to shine. This could be.
It could be.
DC could take advantage of what's going on with Marvel right now, and I don't mean copying, but like when it comes to having there being great stories and people being interested in what DC's doing, I think DC is going to be like in the winning factor. Is going to be the winning factor here when it comes to DC versus Marvel. And I think that like this truly could be DC's time to shine if Marvel does keep going through these issues, and then the stories just aren't that great.
Yeah, it might be time and we get some competition in there for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens when it comes to Marvel. We hope for the best, but it's one of those situations where we just got to wait and see what happens. Like I said, I'm always going to be a Marvel fan. I'm not trying to be down on them. It's just there are some concerning things right now, and hopefully that they make the corrections they need to, so we can get back to like really enjoying things, and like we can have like that hype will come back, and like that. I think a lot of it is just I think they're missing a bit of the heart. I think they're missing a little bit of the specialness. It doesn't feel. I don't know. It's hard, and it's hard because you've done so. I don't know. It's an interesting conundrum they find themselves in, but I'm sure we will talk more about the situation as it goes on.
Yeah, sometime down the road, y'all.
And I see your super chat, CTH, for $595.69. Thank you, sir. And just so you know, CGH, I was going to invite you on, but I need to start winding the show down and closing it out because I need to start preparing dinner for the fam, and I need to get ready to see Lost of Us. So
yeah,
I want to thank
Lost
everyone.
Of Us season finale.
Season finale. So I want to thank everyone for joining me for the premiere episode of Matinee Madness. Had a good time. Thank you to Diao, Darkness, Eddie, Anthony, everyone who joined and everyone who watched. Please make sure, as you guys prepare to leave, please make sure to hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much. And we'll be back hopefully with another episode of Matinee Madness at a later date. Thank you all so much for watching. we're out of here. Peace, guys.